Okay. And we're live. Shoo-hoo. Now just the awkward wait for any people. Yes, I know. Should probably have thought about shutting off the sound from my phone earlier. I'm gonna make a little announcement post. Oh, hey, Rudy. Yeah. I'm just making a little announcement so people know we're actually here before we start. There. Now. I hope you're doing well. Just a little disclaimer. There was supposed to be... This is an audio, meaning that I will be acting like I do in normal audios, but you can interact with me real time. I was planning on putting a little post-it note on the camera, but we just moved and I couldn't find the post-it notes and my time schedule went down the drain. So basically, you can watch this however you wish. But other than that, it is all good. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Maybe I could... Better than a post-it note or something. You may stare at my ceiling. But I will be making rather strange faces, voice acting, and all of that. So just bear with me. You may ask whatever questions you wish to the character in question, the mermaid. I have, but I the entire day's been chaos. I tried to find post-it notes. I couldn't find them because I wanted to tape over the camera so it would be like proper audio, but no, not me. So Terry's gone now. Well, if I have scales, well, darling, I'm a mermaid. I don't know if you humans are quite know very much about mermaids, but we work just like fish with the whole tail part. I have scales. If the water is bluer on the other side of the ocean, well, not particularly on the other side of the ocean, but I have heard that some of my freshwater cousins do have a bit browner water in the lakes. So I suppose in that way, yes. My legs are all gone now, by now, Caesar. You... and this is what I cut out. Well, I was quite upset about the legs earlier, but Now that I have my tail gone, it is all fine and dandy again. It's all right, dear. Yes, I got my tail back. So now I can do whatever I wish. I can go back to work with the farm again. I miss so much work having to wait for my tail to come back. It was chaos with the clams and the tuna and everything. Oh, utter chaos. Had Terry found me? Well, you see, it was a funny story. It was actually when she was down in Turkey. It was a really, really warm day, you see, and I wanted to go up and sunbathe because, well, I like to get a bit of tan. Can you blame me? So I was up on the beach and she was down in the waves and we struck eyes and we've had contact ever so often since then. What's the difference between you and sirens? Well, sirens are a little bit. I don't like to speak ill of our sister folk, but they're a little more murdery. They um, they enjoy eating humans. I don't mean to scare you, but it's true. And they are really good singers as well. You would love to see them at the opera. But it wouldn't end too well, if I'm afraid. Well, yes, I am strong, but living in the water requires different muscles than it would perhaps living on land. I don't use my arms quite as much as other people might, other people, other humans might need. However, my tail is very strong indeed. I am proud because I am actually the fastest swimmer in my village. No, I have not heard of that mermaid. Hmm. She must live in another village. How did you feel when evil ruler found you? She seemed quite scary, honestly. I did not like her one bit. I not my cup of tea. Well, it is in some cases. If your significant other is your true love, then yes, it is true that it is actually quite easy to resist the siren song, but it takes quite a lot of time for most to find their true love, don't it? Some never find it at all, but it is possible. Yes, I lived in a bathtub for a couple of weeks when the evil ruler found me, but she forgot to leave her bathroom window open, so I managed to jump out And I don't like thinking back on it because it was honestly quite humiliating, but I managed to crawl all the way back to the ocean from her castle. It took quite a lot of time, it did too. How I sing my song? Oh, well, unlike what many believe, not all of us have great singing voices. My cousin Carla, for example, oh, you would not want to hear that on a Sunday morning. It is something else entirely. If you were to hear it, I am not sure how much of your hearing would still be left, actually. But some mermaids can sing really beautifully, yes. Caesar, are you alright, darling? Who's here? Oh no. What is a mermaid's natural born enemy? Well, we have a few, depending a little bit on what region you live in, because there are mermaids all over the world, of course. But a very common problem is actually killer whales. They are such a menace. They destroy our crops, they destroy our farms, and if they are not in the proper mood, they might take a few of us. And so they are probably the most enemy-ish we have. They are really sadistic. They like to play. They I think you humans call it cat and mouse. They let you they let people think they got away. But no, then they just round them in and kill them. I do not enjoy them. Hi, Optic. Why did what did Evolve Ruler do to the other mermaids? Well, she did her very best to capture them. However, most of them got away. Most of them got away, at least. A few got captured and are held at her castle. I see. One would think, but sharks are actually quite endearing. You might compare them to dogs, most of them at least. There are a few sharks that are a little aggressive, but most of them are really sweet. My favorite is the whale shark. Ah, such a dear. Caesar, just how long are you going to be in those chains until you actually break out and make sure the evil ruler isn't going to find you? I mean, I certainly took precautions to avoid that. I know, right? They are adorable. I love them. I Had it not been for their size, I would have loved to have one as a pet. They come and go ever so often around the village. We feed them a little food and they sing us a little song. It's really nice. That is a little complicated, Rudy. While, yes, it is possible that a person may breathe underwater if they are kissed by a mermaid, it differs a lot from human to human based on their body, on how long they can actually breathe underwater. Some may breathe for all of their life and they start living underwater. Um, I know there's this village in Asia that has quite a lot of humans in there. But in my village, we have had attempts, and the humans have only been able to go underwater for a few minutes before they have to get up again. So I, I wouldn't recommend to try scuba diving based off a mermaid's kiss. Oh yay, you're free. I'm so happy for you. Oh wow. I would love to see a whale shark soon again. Hey babies. Hey killen. Hmm. Excuse me. I just need to bring a little someone up. Så, kan du ligga där nu? Då kan du ligga och sova. I'm not sure if it's true because it sounds like bullcrap is supposed to believe whale shark. Oh wow, that's really interesting. In case it is true, I haven't ever looked down the throat of a whale shark. Not any that I have heard of. I haven't heard of a human or a mermaid who grew legs when they fell in love. If I can hum a song. Well, there is this old nursery rhyme. Mind you, I am nowhere near as good as the sirens, but right. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. Sov mitt barn i bädden hos mor. Låt vargen yla i natten. Men jag kan ge en rensaskank om ingen annan har tagit den. Du varg, kom inte hit. Ungen min får du aldrig. That was a nursery rhyme my mother used to sing me. She was up from the Nordics, so she was very comfortable with the human languages up there. Scream loud like sirens. Well, yes, we can. That's how we herd the fish. We scare them into different directions so they follow us. So we move them from a different area, from area to area. Thank you. Where I got my clothes? Well, most of them are gifts from my beloved human. They bring me clothes ever so often when they can afford them. Before I used to wear plastic bags and other things I could find floating around in the ocean, but it wasn't very practical, and plastic bags are mostly see-through, you see. That isn't just in Dragon Quest 11 anime gamer. It comes from an old tale, The Little Mermaid. Not the Disney version, but the original Danish version. Um, the character of Ariel turns into sea foam because she would not, I believe. It was so long since I read the tale, but it was something about her needing to kill her love. It sounds very graphic, but old tales are often very graphic. Have you noticed? If I have a name. Yes, of course I have a name. Um, mm, mm, mm. I'll answer you. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat, but my name is Julia. I am married. It wasn't the big official wedding, but we did get married a few months ago. We met in a rather distressed situation. I had gotten stuck in plastic and had been thrown up into the beach. And in case you don't know, a mermaid can stay up on land for very long before she needs to return down. And I was pretty close to drying out completely when they found me, and they saved me from the plastic. And since then, they've stayed by my side. They're doing their best to save up to start an ocean rescue operation to take out trash from the sea. We do. We use weapons. While most of our food comes from farming, but even there we need some weapons to catch, for example, the tuna when we are going to eat it. But if we are going on bigger hunts, say for example dolphins or sharks or even octopuses can be a bit difficult to catch without proper weapons. Sometimes we use things we find lying around, like rocks, or once I found a human knife in the water. But we also use tridents, yes. They are quite useful actually. And there are lots of harpoons laying around from the whale hunts humans used to carry out. Thank you, Caesar. Yes, I noticed. Just look at the origin of most Disney stories. Scary. Yes, they are not very child friendly. Um, I have read both. Um, I have read Gremlins fairy tales. Or, yeah, I think it's called that. Two brothers who went around Europe hundreds of years ago and collected different folk tales that people would tell. And I can't wrap my head around how people would tell these stories where eyes were picked out or dancing in burning shoes and everything. It is just so. Yes, I married a human. Not very common where I come from, but I managed to convince my parents to be okay with it. No, they don't. The currents and everything is. It is rare that you see ocean trash that has been picked up and landed out in the ocean to be ever picked up. I know there is even. I was on a vacation once at the Mariana Trench. Very different place. The people there are not used to company, or very sociable company at least. And we found human trash at the very bottom there. There was this little can with an S on it. Quite sad, honestly. Have you heard about a dragon named Celeste? I I have not. I am very curious. Are there really dragons up there? I've never seen one myself. Are you going? How are you keeping your tail wet, Julia? Well, I'm. So, my lab actually was kind enough to help me out with the stream. So, they put a box of water that I can sit in so that I don't dry out. You've seen some mermaid queens use swords. The human made a sword with shark teeth on both sides. Yes. Oh my god. Shark swords are so practical. Practical. Their teeth are really sharp, and sharks don't really take harm from us taking their teeth ever so often, or like even when we find them lying around, because sharks grow new teeth all their life. Oh, please tell me about Coriala. Is that how you pronounce her name? Mermaids. North Italy, Ireland, Russia, Greece, Asia. Well, we can be found all over the world. There are even those who live in freshwater. So it's rather difficult to pinpoint where exactly we come from. But I don't know. we are so different based on where we live as well. I've seen some freshwater mermaids who have legs, but scaly legs, and they can walk up on land, and it's really quite fascinating, honestly. Wow, that is fascinating. Dragons! I've read about them in my books, but oh wow, I need to keep an eye out up at the sky. Perhaps I shall see one day. Which part of the ocean? Well, we have a very close relationship with the coral reefs. They are great for farming, and as far back as the records go, at least, we've always been farming. it is it is a little difficult to keep records because we don't really have something easy to write on like you humans do with paper. And so the few records we have been found have actually been carvings into rocks or things like that. But for as long as we know, mermaids have always been farming near coral reefs, and then we have extended out from there. Well, Coriana is a mermaid, and yes, she does sing. And she fell in love with a human because she was watching him for a long time. Oh, and now they live together. Oh, that is just so sweet. Oh, where does Julia live? Well, I live just outside of Majorca. Majorca. It is. I can't remember the word for it that you humans call it, but it is a little part between Europe and Africa where there is a sea, and there is an island called Majorca, and just outside there, it's where I live. What they're like, well, I'm not really too fond of them personally. Um, they they don't really care about us small folks, us people living out in the countryside. But I mean, it's great what they did for the ocean, saving it and everything, but I still have a tail. What do you call a sea creature? It's like a siren, but has a tail. Accent. What do you call a sea creature? It's like a siren, but has a tail. Walks on two legs, and the legs are hind legs. Four-legged animal. Oh, I don't think I've ever heard of such a creature. I'm very curious. I don't know what they're called either, Rudy. Said you have the Little Mermaid. You did? Oh, it is just beautiful, isn't it? Extremely dangerous. Well, they do sound awfully scary. I mean, siren with a combination of four-legged animal. That means they can run on land. Do they come and get in the ocean as well? Kappa is a secret from Japan. Heard of the Selkies. I have heard of it, but not very. I haven't really heard that much about them. But aren't they like half seal, half human? Or am I completely off the wall here? My tail is blue, dark blue. I really like it. It blends in with the ocean really well. So when on hunts, the fish or whatever we might be hunting don't see me coming. Turtle-like creature. Oh yes, I would love to see a picture of it, Rudy. Seals. Ah, okay. Wow, that is really interesting. So they can be both completely human and completely seal. They aren't anything in between. That is just fascinating. Hmm. What did you do, Caesar? Caesar? Caesar, come on! Why? Do you have any idea how much work I'm going to lose now? I just got the farm back in shape. Oh my god. Why would you do that? You better be a lot more careful when walking around with potions. Why did you even have that potion on you? Ah, oh. Why? Why would you even have that potion? CDC. Alchemist, of course. Of course, Alchemists gave it to you. They are just. Mm. Thank you, Rudy. Personally, I'm not too fond of alchemists. They always pour different things on top of each other, and it never ends up very well, if I'm being honest. Thank you very much. You see, we are in the middle of summer, which means there are lots of. Well, the seaweed is growing like crazy, and the corals need tending, and well, the tuna needs to move quite soon, and everything. Well, that's interesting, anime gamer. I believe that potions should qualify. That dropping potions on top of a mermaid should qualify as chemical spills. My little seal is just lying on the bed, being all depressed because my love has gone out to eat. Much better. Once, a long time ago, I caught this baby seal, and now he's staying with me, and he's so adorable. And I couldn't leave him behind on the farm when I was growing up, so I brought him with me, and he really likes staying here with my love. I believe the CDC might be an American thing. I think in Europe we have different um, different local things. What did you name the seal? Well, there was this little joke because my cousin, she got a really big walrus as a pet, and she named it the Spanish word for small, which is pequeño. And so, as a joke, we named the. My cousin comes from Spain, so. And as a joke, we named my little tiny seal Grande, which is big in Spanish. They are very much like dogs. Indeed. Well, if you can handle having them, they need quite a lot of attention, you see, and they aren't suitable for every habitat. But I suppose it's the same in the with a dog. You shouldn't have a husky if you live in a very warm climate, for example, or a chihuahua without a shirt jacket in the winter. Oh, hi there, Angel. My love's neighbors are making a little bit of noise. There is some construction going on just to the right of us. They're much more comfortable. That's right. But since I drove home, I've been having this song playing again and again and again in my mind. I do miss the ocean a lot. Every time I'm above on land, it just feels wrong. Like a part of me is missing. And so once this stream is over, I will be heading back to the ocean straight away. Anime gamer, is that some start of a joke? Julia, how's your husband? Oh, they're doing very well. They just went out to grab some McDonald's. They are really into fast food. I'm trying to convince them to eat some healthy food instead. Like, well, a couple of seaweeds are very good snacks, if I do say so myself. What would happen if I saw an elementalist? I've heard about them. Don't they live quite isolated in small towns? I heard there was actually one town which collaborated, one village with mermaids who collaborated with elementalists because the elemental town was just by the water, so they could help each other out. That sounds fascinating, being able to see people who can control the water just using their minds. There is also this one thing that has been a bit of a problem in my love's neighborhood, which is Yepa, I believe they're called. Oh my god, that is hilarious. I'm very sorry. Um, Full Metal Alchemist is actually one of the few animes I actually have seen. I watched this as a young child. Um, Back when I was very little, my mother had taken a copy of it, and she played it on the TV we found at the beach. So, how much is the clock? Okay, a few more minutes, and then we have to round it off. What will happen if I saw the knife that the Little Mermaid had? Well, it would be put into a museum because it's an historic artifact, of course. The Little Mermaid is one of our the most famous mermaids out there. She was the first human. She was the first mermaid to turn into a human, and she was one of the first who fell in love with a human. And so it would be turned into a museum so that others may look at an artifact. I do prefer Brotherhood because I feel like the production quality is a little bit better and it makes a little bit more sense. I couldn't really get a grasp on the original. How long do we live? Generally, one would say we live to about 130 years old, but it differs. Of course, like with any human being, like you would generally live till around 80 years old, and yeah. Huh. Yes, that is the end for us. We do turn to foam, except those of us who are unfortunate enough to try out on the beach. They are just left there as, well, dried fish, pretty much. I would love to read the manga someday. Oh, any other people? Specify people. Like, do you mean people as in other everything or people as in other humans? Mermaid fell in love with the cabin boy. Did they make it together? Yes, they did. They've been swimming around. Um, Serena is showing him our world. And so they actually came quite recently and visited. It does sound better, don't it? A small place you would wish to visit. Oh, I would love, 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 love to visit the Caribbean. It sounds just lovely. But I mean, the Great Barrier Reef would be amazing to visit as well before it dies. It isn't in the best of shape, so one would have to hurry. Yes. We have 4 more minutes until we have to round this off. Well, you see, my lab has arranged for transportation to take me back to the ocean because I can't ride in a normal car. And so we will go back and we have to do that at 8 so that I get back to the ocean in a few hours. Yeah, I did not like that man at all. Murdered so many of my brothers and sisters. Horrific. One would even threaten with fire. It's disgusting, honestly. Last words. Well, I am very thankful that you came, and it has been very fun interacting with you. Thank you so much. Well, it was actually easier than I expected to act. It kind of flowed. I was really worried that it would just I would lose my ability to speak English and I would start stuttering and everything, but it wasn't too bad. Yes, Caesar, you can do another poll. It would be nice. The same to you. And have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.